Martin, can you guys hear us? Oh, yes. Okay, I'm almost done. I call this meeting to order. Welcome to Senate meeting 5622. The date is June 1st, 2026. The time is 5:09 p.m. And we are currently in SU 313, our Senate chambers. At this time, I will go ahead and open roll call. Senator Rafa is excused. Senator Mohan is unexcused. Senator Rodriguez Senator Rodriguez is unexcused. SPPT Baralira.
Present.
Senator Le.
Present.
Senator Prieto.
Present.
Senator King.
Present.
Senator Shelton Lott.
Present.
Senator Henkin.
Present.
Senator Oliver.
Present.
Senator Sade.
Present.
Senator Gutierrez excused. Senator Cos is unexcused. Senator Navarro Mendoza. Present. Senator Cameron.
Present.
Senator Beals.
Present.
Senator
Present.
Senator Brion.
Present.
Senator Yelvington.
Present.
Senator Goodman.
Present.
And then Senator Pui is excused until 6 p.m. And then I apologize, but Senator Cos is excused until 5:20 p.m. With 15 senators present, we are meeting quorum. At 5:11 p.m., I will now open land acknowledgements. The University of Nevada, Las Vegas wishes to acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities of this region and recognize that the university is situated on the traditional homelands of the Maui Southern Paiute people. We offer gratitude for the land itself and for those who have stewarded it for generations. For the opportunity to study, learn, and work and be in community with this land. I will close land acknowledgement at 5:12 p.m. And for the record, Senator Pui is present. She will be excused at 6 p.m. We're at 60 senators meeting quorum. I will at 5:12 p.m. I will go ahead and open public comments. This is the time for the public may come and speak. Members of the public, you are limited to 3 minutes for your public comments. Please refrain from saying any slanders or defamation of characters. I have the right to limit your comments. When you come to the podium, please state your first and last name and spell out your last name for the record. Are there any public comments in SU 313R? Are there any public comments via the telephone line? Seeing none, I will go ahead and close public comments at 5:13 p.m. and at the same time open approval of minutes. Are there any discrepancies regarding meeting minutes 5621? Seeing none, I will go ahead and move on to a voice vote. All in favor of approving 5621, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? With a vote of 16 to 0, the meeting minutes have been approved. I will go ahead and close approval of minutes at 5:13 p.m. and at the same time open Discussion 5A for the discussion and approval of CSUN FY 27 budgets. President Zunze will have the floor to present the budget. There will be no voting on passing the budget, just kind of like a review meeting, just because the budget does have to be seen 2 times in the Senate meeting before being approved. So President Zunze, you have the floor.
Thank you, Senate President Flores. And then there is also 3 supplemental materials for you all to go over that are attached to this budget presentation. So I attached FY 26 for a comparison to this year's FY 27 budget, if you would like to review. And then I also put in a CSUN FY 27 budget report that goes more into detail of the comparison and the things that we allocated the different revenue sources to. I won't go super into detail into that report, but I will give some more oversight kind of world view things on the budget, but please feel free to ask any questions. Again, like Senate President Flores said, this is the first time we will be seeing this budget, and then we will be seeing it on an additional Senate agenda. So if you have any questions or if you have any additions you would like to see, please feel free to send me those if you don't voice them today during this agenda item. But I'm going to be presenting our FY 27 budget. This will be from July 1st of this year to June 30th of next year. We really wanted to focus on some student-centered initiatives. So I will go through each budget line. For FY 27, the budget is what we foresee it being is $2,125,150, which is about $154,000 more than FY 26. A big part of this increase comes from the continued enrollment at UNLV. As enrollment increases, so student fee revenue increases, which will allow us to put more into student programs. We also are budgeting $100,000 in rollover. This is the amount that we have decided with our business operator, operations coordinator of Palacios. We don't exactly know how much we're getting in rollover just yet, as those accounts haven't been fully closed, but we are committing to $100,000. So if there is anything extra, we are going to roll it over into our interest-bearing account, which we can also utilize during FY 27 for some bigger initiatives. Some examples that we've done in the past, like the 100 paper cranes, the WRI project. So we can still use that money that's rolling over for other projects too. I also want to note that when we budget very conservatively. So a lot of that rollover money comes from us underestimating how much students are paying into our student fee. So we just want to make sure that we're not overspending. So usually a lot of the rollover comes from us underestimating how many students are enrolled. And then just another note for FY 26 and FY 27, the comparison sheet that I put into the drive, I'm comparing this FY 27 budget report to the very first budget allocation that this 55th legislative session passed. So we did about 3 reallocations throughout this term, but we are going to the very beginning just so we can keep everything comprehensive. So that's what this comparison is to. If you're thinking that numbers are looking a little bit different, we're comparing it to the very first FY 26 budget that we passed. Again, going through each budget line for this year, I'm going to start out with administration. So administration, we reduced it from $392,040 to $335,755, which is about a 14% decrease. We also removed a $48,000 overhead budget line that existed in FY 26, and we redirected that funding towards student-facing programs. So if you remember, we cut this budget line in about the middle of FY 26. And so now that we don't have to allocate any more resources to that, we completely cut it out of the FY 27 budget. We also decreased our office needs and our technology upgrades, as we did a lot of those during FY 26. And we increased our SUS Senate meeting reservations as those have gone up a little bit. We want to make sure we can meet on the 2nd floor, so we're more accessible to our constituents. Everything else under the administration budget line has remained the same. And similar with our stipends, as they are tied to the bylaws, those have also remained the same as well. So now we're going to go into the executive branch. The first one is election and operations. So we kept the operations general the same, we kept the CSUN development and boot camp the same, but what we have changed and increased is the elections general. And this is because we've seen increased turnout in our elections. If you go into the budget report PDF that I put in the drive, we've had a 120% increase in participation in our elections from 2024. And that definitely comes from all of the elections events that we've hosted in the fall and the spring to get students out to vote. And so we want to continue that engagement and get students to vote for you all here in CSUN. Under marketing and social media, we increased the CSUN merchandise funding from 2,000 to 3,500. We want to get more CSUN branded merch for you all and more of our CSUN officials. Director Hoskins is currently working on creating quarter zips. So we have a little bit more diversity in what we wear. So that is just a $1,500 increase from the last fiscal year. And then under the Legislative and Civic Affairs Department, we have increased the budget by about $11,500 to support our DEI programming, student advocacy, and travel to Carson City. So this year is a legislative session year. We want to send some CSUN officials with our university up to Carson City to lobby on behalf of us all and our undergraduate students here. So we set aside $5,000 in travel for them. We've also increased the programming for our Civic and Legislative Affairs Department so they can have more programming with the different departments here on campus and make students feel more seen and heard through CSUN. And then under the executive discretionary, we increased executive discretionary by $10,000. And the reason we did this is a big initiative that we ran on, the executive board ran on, was a bookstore initiative. With the recent tuition fee increase, everything has gone up. And so we wanted to provide vouchers for students for their books here on campus so we could help supplement that cost. So that's where that money is going to. And then the executive general will be going to different initiatives that the executive board may deem necessary. So under the 54th executive board, for example, a student wanted to go to Washington, D.C., but they couldn't get any RSO money. There wasn't any funding from the university. So they asked the CSUN executive board for some assistance, and they were able to send that student to Washington, D.C. to advocate for all the students here at UNLV. So that's kind of what that money will go towards. It'll also go towards travel for me to the Board of Regents. So we have a student representative at our Board of Regents meetings. We have two that are in Reno. We have one this June 12th and 13th at the University of Nevada, Reno, and then we have one in September at Truckee Meadows Community College. So that's also where that money would be going to. Now, this is the more fun part that I like to talk about because it's the part that you all get to mess around with. So we put $1,560,145 into the legislative branch, with the biggest portion going into our student organization funding, with it being $654,645. Just super exciting. We know there's probably going to be a lot more Ways and Means marathons this year, but we are excited to hopefully fund more student organizations this year. And it is about $70,000 more than the minimum that we stipulate in our bylaws. So we're very excited to see how many student organizations we can fund this year. I know Chair Cost has a lot of initiatives that she would like to implement during her term. Under both the scholarships budget line and the sponsorships budget line, we put $90,000 in each, which is also super exciting. What I would like to say to the Senate, if we pass this as is with one-time sponsorships, we're going to have to do a lot of coordinating over the summer. This is because with the departments, we can't back fund them. So if they already have an event in September and we pass a bill in December, they can't use that money. So if there is an event in September, we have to make sure we get the budget approved for them in August or anytime before the event is, so we can make sure that they get the money with that one-time sponsorship for both scholarships and sponsorships. I know we're probably gonna get some questions on why they're one-time. The reason we wanna do this is because we don't wanna overload our own CSUN budget, especially with the recent tuition fee increase. We don't wanna force any future CSUN executive administrations and the Senate to pursue a fee increase. Essentially, our fee increase is along the lines of HEPI, just like the Board of Regents and our tuition fee increases, but with our budget, we are very flexible with the amount of money and where those things can go. And so we don't have to pursue the increase every year if we don't really need to. And so again, we want to make sure we can avoid that as long as possible, which is why we want to keep things one time. Again, we also want to make sure our budget is flexible so we can help out more departments on campus. And so they don't become too reliant on us. Not that that's an issue, but once we start adding things into the bylaws, we're now committing ourselves and committing that money to those different departments. When they're free like this, we can be more flexible. This also doesn't stop us from committing one-time sponsorships multiple times a year. So for example, we've had a few one-time sponsorships in FY26. If we wanted to do another one-time sponsorship in FY27, we can. If future administrations wanted to do another one-time sponsorship in FY28 for that same department, they still could. It just doesn't tie it to the bylaws. So that's the reason for that. Just wanted to clear that. And if there's any questions or concerns, we can always talk about that. But moving on into the grants budget line, we've increased this from $5,000 to $10,000. This is because we've had an increase in applicants every year as well. This year we had over 30, I believe, and we weren't able to fund them all. So we want to make sure that we're helping our students with the different needs that they need, whether it's for travel for their conferences or like the cool robotics projects that they have, their scrubs, other things like that. And so we wanted to put $10,000 aside so we could provide ample funding for a grants program, which is why that is there. And then moving on to Senate and intern development, not much has changed here. We just combined Senate and intern development into one. So in FY26, it used to be Senate development, and the internship program has two separate budget lines with $5,000 to the Senate development and $1,000 to the internship program. We've just combined them, so it's more flexible for the Senate President pro tempore to divert funds to either or to both together. We just thought this made a little bit more sense, especially because like a lot of the things we do with our interns are with the Senate as well. The mixers amount has stayed the same and will be allocated based on your college. And then we increased our internship scholarships from $5,000 at the start of FY26 to $15,000 for this fiscal year. And that's so we could have more interns in our program, make our Senate elections a little bit more competitive, our executive elections a little bit more competitive, and then also provide an additional professional development for students who may not want to continue pursuing in CSUN. They still build a lot of amazing professional development skills. And so we want to expand that opportunity for them as well. The judicial branch from FY26, they had two budget lines. They had a general budget line, and then I believe they also had a development budget line. We've cut this because our CSUN Judicial Council comes to our CSUN boot camps. They come to both of them. They're required to be there. And so that's kind of what that budget line was more for like training, other resources like that, but they have it with the general body. So we just cut that. It used to be $500 and now we zeroed it out. So we just cut it from this fiscal year. And then in FY26, our CSUN discretionary was also $5,000. This year it will remain $5,000. And I also want to explain this budget line a little bit more because I feel like sometimes we get a little confused on it. I know I was confused when I first saw the CSUN discretionary budget line, but this can be literally used for anything. So let's say Director Colin Sanchez wanted to use that money for an additional ticket to Carson City. He would just get with a senator, they would write a bill, blah, blah, blah. They could use the CSUN discretionary money. Same thing. Someone from scholarships or scholarship and grants committee or the university initiatives committee wanted to use that money for something they could. So it's really kind of just, I wouldn't say free money, but anyone in CSUN can use that for an initiative or project that's not tied to a bylaw or an additional budget line in the budget. But I know that was a lot and I know there might be questions. Thank you for letting me take almost 30 minutes of your time, but I'm open to any questions on the budget. Very excited to be working on it with you all. And yeah, please any questions.
And once again, we are not voting on passing the item. That will be happening on the second Senate meeting in which the budget will be seen. This is just kind of like, if you all have suggestions, questions, you can now ask them. Are there any questions, points of discussion regarding the budgets? Seeing none, thank you so much, President Odin. I will go ahead and close 5A at 5:28 PM and at the same time open 5B for the discussion and approval of Executive Bill 5601, an act to amend the CSUN bylaws chapter 211. President Lindsay, you have the floor once again.
Thank you, Senate President Flores. So this is very simple bill. It would be amending the CSUN bylaw chapter 211, which is our Department of Civic and Legislative Affairs, and it would be restructuring it into the Department of Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, Advocacy, Legislative Affairs. Sorry, it's been a long day. But there's no real substantive changes to the bylaws in this bill. It's really just a restructure. We find that CLA, especially in our first term, focus more on diversity initiatives, getting students involved with CSUN and the university, and less more of the civic and legislative side, other than when the biennium comes up, which it is now. So a big focus of this department is actually, again, those diversity programmings, getting students to feel like they're connected to our university. And so we wanted the department to highlight that while still, again, keeping the part about legislative affairs in there because it is a part of it, but not as big as the programming piece. We also wanted to add a requirement, or I guess not a requirement, a role to our Associate Director of Diversity, Equity, and Advocacy to also include philanthropic efforts. So let's say for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, if the director or the associate director wanted to host an event or partner with the department, host a campaign, this would fall under their jurisdiction. So they have more of an expanded role and feel like they can do that. Same thing with like Cancer Awareness Months, Mental Health Awareness Months. That way we now have a dedicated CSUN official who will help out, making students feel, again, seen and heard and valued by our organization. But other than that, I don't have any other comments unless you all have any questions for me.
Are there any questions or points of discussion regarding the bill? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and call for a roll call or voice vote. All in favor of approving Executive Bill 5601, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. With a vote of 17 to 0 to 0, congratulations, the bill is approved. Thank you. Go ahead and close agenda item 5B at 5:31 PM, and then go back to our reports. I will open reports at 5:31 PM, starting off with Senate committee reports, Ways and Means Chair costs.
Chair cost for the record. Hi, guys. So we are, we've started our receipt collection, cross-checking process. So I sent my committee today, I sent you guys a G-chat that has the instructions on everything because our meeting got cut a little bit short last time. So I apologize if you guys were on that meeting, but I made a video that shows you guys exactly what to do. If you have any questions, let me know. You guys have an entire week to get your next emails sent out, and then the RSO will have an entire week after that to send their check back to us. And then we'll probably be meeting next, the last week of June. It'll be on that Tuesday. That's it.
Then Scholarship Grass Chair Briones.
Chair Briones for the record. My only reminders for committee members is that we have a meeting this Wednesday at 5:30 PM. It's gonna be in here or online. And for committee members, this will be our first presentations for scholarships. So just review past presentations for the Barbara Agonia Scholarship as well as the pre-professional scholarship as they'll be presenting this Wednesday. But other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Written report is in the drive. And I hope you guys are having an amazing summer. That's it.
Yeah, and then, internal affairs chair Liz.
Hello, everyone. We are going to be having a meeting this upcoming Wednesday at 3 p.m. The day is different. Usually we have on Thursday, but it's gonna be on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. So please make sure you accept the calendar invite as well as look through the agenda as we have a lot of stuff to go over. And I will send you guys updates if I get any supplemental materials, so we could review it beforehand. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, and then University Initiatives Chair Cameron.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's summer has been doing well. Just for some updates, 17 out of 18 sponsorship presentations are done. Technically 18 since one didn't have a presentation, so we're all done for sponsorship presentations. So the summer will look light. We'll only be having 4 meetings over the summer. It'll just mostly be focused on work sessions and just refreshing of information. Vice Chair Navarro Mendoza and I will be doing July virtual check-ins. And then as for budget line updates, for one time, it's $73.82 pending from our last meeting. And then new and existing is 0. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Are there any questions for any of our chairs? Okay, and then professional staff reports, advisor, Doc.
Nothing for me today.
Advisor.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm back. So please let me know if you need anything from me. I want to give some quick shout outs. I know you all have been doing a lot of amazing work all the time. And then of course, while I was out. So shout out to Senator Taylor. I saw that you're working with Rebel Vets and you had some of our representatives with you. So thank you so much for doing that work. Shout out to Senator Koss, who chaired her first Ways and Means meeting. So I'm super excited for you. Awesome job for that. A couple of other things. So from Advisor Palacios, she wants you to log into your Rebel Learn and do your outstanding trainings. These are for all the people who haven't done their trainings yet. So please make sure you get those done. And if you want to use the golf cart, please email Advisor Palacios your safety certificate that you get at the end of your completing that training for your golf cart. And then don't forget to put your name chip on the board. If you don't know what I'm talking about, come see me after and I'll be happy to show you what that is. And then just for summer term, just so everybody is aware, the student union does close at 8 p.m. throughout the week. So make sure, chairs, when you're thinking about your meetings, like directors, when you're having your events and things like that, the building does close at 8 p.m. all summer long. And then we'll go back to regular hours and I'll just give another reminder before fall semester comes up and just say, hey, it's back to 10:30 p.m. or whatever it was, okay? And then I also wanted to just give everybody a general reminder that this is a really exciting learning opportunity. I know everybody takes their positions really serious and I really love all the things that you all accomplish. But I just want to remind you, this is also a learning opportunity. So we want you to grow, we want you to try things, we want you to create initiatives, we want you to fail, we want you to learn. So I just wanted to give everybody a reminder that this is still a space and opportunity for everybody to learn and grow about student government and within your roles. So it's okay if you mess up, it's okay if you make mistakes. We're here to help you, we're here to support you, okay? All right, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for any of our advisors? Okay. And then liaison reports. Adriana House, do you have a report?
No report at the moment, thank you.
And then directors, starting Director Hoskins. Okay. Director Keller.
Hi, everyone. I have just been starting up the department again, doing all that fun stuff, budgeting, all that kind of stuff. I'm also working on, my main thing is I'm working on expanding the election commission. So anybody, if you know anyone that wants to join the elections commission, shoot them my way and I can start that process. And then just some upcoming dates. CSUN boot camp is on August 29th, which will come sooner than you think. Senate filing is from September 8th to 22nd. And then our Senate elections on are on the 14th and the 15th of October.
Thank you. Director Cohen Sanchez.
Hello, everyone. We wrapped up our interviews for assistant directors that will be moving on to the executive board meeting. Last Friday, I attended the NSU's Southern Student Government Summit alongside some other system members, reaching out to my counterparts at other universities to start collaborating with them. And then, we're preparing the way for our assistant directors, and then we're just mapping out our events for this semester.
Are there any questions for the directors? Does the JC have any report?
Yes, we do have updates. Should I go there?
Yes, so I could catch you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so first off, the JC met on the 26th, so to discuss the newsletter, the banquet, social media, and future plans. And on the 28th, Associate Justice Isabella Campos and I were trained by Nikki, and we're currently working on like our homework or like training over the summer. So there's that. We're about to send out our May newsletter, which it should be very exciting. And we're also working on more social media updates. So I am kind of the coordinator for that. And we're working with Director Ivy and just waiting for an associate or assistant director to continue. We have a meeting on the 9th for social media, and we're about to post our annual dinner. Then for our membership updates, right now we have 8 justices until the new JC member nomination is like, if they're nominated and whatnot. And finally, Associate Justice Lily LaShawn, she came up with this great idea for a lecture series, something from Urban Affairs that she saw where we would have legal professionals come in, something like Know Your Rights, basically, where they would like give a lecture. And yeah, so it's very exciting. So that's in the works. And that's all.
For JC, are there any questions for JC? Okay, thank you so much. And then lastly, our Chief of Staff Munoz.
Hi everyone. I've been having a lot of random meetings, just getting things settled and ready for the upcoming semester. But yeah, our main priority right now is getting all of our associate directors in, and we've been meeting with the directors to get them started. But yeah, nothing much from me. If anyone needs anything from me, please feel free to G-chat me or email me. Thank you.
And then moving with our executive reports, President Odunze.
Thank you. You can file my report in a drive, but starting off with the budget. Thank you all for listening to me forever. If you have any suggestions, again, please feel free to email me and I will bring them up in the next Senate meeting. And if you have any suggestions during that meeting, please feel free to bring them up as well. We'll get our associate directors in soon. We're just making sure we're going through the right processes with that. So we're excited to get them a part of CSUN really soon. Also, thank you for passing our ideal bill. So Director Cohen Sanchez is no longer director of CLA, he's director of ideal, which is also super exciting. So thank you all for doing that. Again, I'm gonna keep bringing this up on your radar. The NG board meeting is June 11th and 12th in Reno. Advisor Dow sent you all an email about some things that you might want to look out for on that agenda. So please feel free to watch online and give public comment if you so choose. It's a really good way to get your face to the Board of Regents, especially when they come here in December. They'll be like, oh, I saw your public comment in June and September, and now I'm seeing you here in person. So it's a really good way to, again, get yourself out there and be involved. I had a meeting with CFO Vatone, which is super exciting. I also put something in the supplemental materials that I'll go over. But we had a really good meeting. We talked about a lot of initiatives that CSUN would like to do for the next year. We also talked about any overages of undergraduate student fees, how that process will look. So we are going to meet soon and make sure that any of those fees will be directed to a CSUN account, which is also really exciting. Chief of Staff Munoz and Director Cohen Sanchez and I are going to meet with our government and community engagement team, which is under Dr. Brooks, who has come in here a few times, and President Heavey and some other members of our university leadership to talk about the legislative session, how we can be good partners, and if they can help out with sending some CSUN officers up to Carson City in the spring. So we are meeting with them next week, and we'll let you know how that meeting goes. We just finished our work group meeting on the CSUN Student Association fee last week. That was a really good meeting. We have a lot of really good members, and they asked a lot of really good questions. Our next meeting will be tomorrow, if you would like to attend. That is when our members are gonna give me an initial recommendation on the CSUN student fee. They may defer to a future meeting, but there's a few different options that they can consider. And Dr. Rogers will be in attendance at that meeting as well to talk a little bit more about our CSUN fee. All of the chairs will be giving reports on what they think about the fee as well, so I'm excited to see them there. And then this is also a really exciting opportunity that we're working on with our northern counterparts. A senator from the Associated Students of the University of Nevada, Reno, Senator Anna Barras, she reached out to us about the emergency contraceptive vending machines that we have here at Tonopah, and they want to do something similar at their university, and they want to make it kind of like a piece of legislation in the next legislative session. And so we're meeting with them tomorrow as well. I'm also meeting with the RHA President Jeremiah Stevens to talk a little bit more about our initiatives for both resident students and how we can partner with our community students too. And if you missed the Southern Student Government Summit, it was really fun. It was actually really exciting. We had members from the NSU Student Government and the CSN Student Government there. And we bonded a little bit. It was so much fun. It was a great way to hear a little bit more about what they do at their universities. And so it definitely seems like it's something that's going to be a tradition. CSN is going to host it next year, and then UNLV after that, is what I've been told. So if you're still here next year, I will definitely recommend you go. And then, like I said, I dropped something, and this is from CFO Baton. It's the student fee increase allocation plan. There's an executive summary. I won't go through all of that, but some of the initiatives that CSUN that we have talked about with GPSA and they are using, they are putting into their allocation. So there is going to be a point where the state budget and the student fee increase on tuition overline, and there's going to be extra student fees. And so they've consulted with us and other departments on campus on where that money should go. So that alumni mall shade improvements, they are setting aside 1.2 million for that. The wheel conveyance infrastructure, which they will hopefully be completing over this summer, they put $1 million aside for that. This wasn't a CSUN or GPSA initiative, but it's very cool. The enterprise AI will help everyone on campus get more acquainted with AI development here on campus. They also put for the food pantry relocation and build out, they want to move the food pantry to the new parking garage that will be behind Angry Chicks. And then the tech loaner program that we were talking about, they put aside 325,000 towards that too. So I just wanted to let you know that when we bring up things to our administration, they do listen to us for the most part. And so I just wanted to share like some of the good news with you all too. And sorry, my report took so long. That's it for me.
And then these are the things from our Vice President Solano. There's going to be appointments. Well, the directors have been appointed and associate directors. We are hoping to get that done before the month of June ends. The departments are creating operating policies, which they are doing that, or our directors are doing that right now, kind of modeling after our chairs. So if any of our chairs have recommendations, we can go ahead and help our directors. They're also, Vice President Tolano has also worked on some bylaw changes just to refine the roles of what the directors and associate directors should be doing, so it doesn't get lost in translation with years. For myself, there's gonna be a next meeting, there's June 8th. You all should have received that calendar invite by now. And as you can see, we have 18 students go up for 4 seats. It's exciting to know that we have so many students that are really wanting to get involved. On Wednesday, IA will be doing kind of like a screening type where they'll be reviewing the candidates before the Senate, just so they can, if they would like to, make any recommendation of who they would like and support, to like what students and candidates they would like to support, and see within the Senate. And then we will be seeing all of those candidates on Monday. Then I will be conducting summer college check-ins, just like we had done previously. These are just gonna be in the summer. It's gonna happen after June 8th, just when we should have a full Senate by then. And so we can also help onboard our new senators. And then please, do sign up for new student orientation shifts. They're not so long. And if you do, they will count as September outreach hours, so you can get them done by the end of the summer. You won't even have to worry about them during September. So just please sign up. Even we just need at least one person to cover them. They're not they don't take super long. It's max 2 hours a shift. But you get to interact with the people who are going to be your future constituents. You get to interact with their parents and let them know of how amazing college life is, and push students to get involved so early onto their college career. So please sign up. I know Director Hoskins will be sending out that NSO sign up sheet soon again. And then that is all from ourselves. I'll go ahead and close reports at 5:49 p.m. And then at the same time, jump back to public comments. So this is the time for members of the public. You may come and speak. Members of the public, you are limited to 3 minutes for your public comments. Please refrain from saying any slanders or defamation of characters that have the right to limit your comments. When you come to the podium, please state your first and last name and spell out your last name for your record. Are there any public comments in SU 313R? Are there any public comments via the telephone line? Senator Taylor.
Senator Taylor, for the record, Taylor, since this is public. I do want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Chair Charlotte Cameron and Chief of Staff Nancy Munoz for attending our Operation Battleborn 2026 opening ceremony. We had a fantastic time. The Rebel Vets was able to sign up over 100 walkers for our 3-day event, which culminated in us passing off 7,000 dog tags of the fallen military who fought in the war on terror to Governor Lombardo on Monday. And then I also want to thank Miss Ashley Yelvington. She and her dad were scheduled to come out, and we had some problems connecting, but I want to thank her for making the attempt. We'll be at it next year. And I also want to thank our president, who also attended the opening ceremony, but also helped us, the Rebel Vets, welcome Congresswoman Dina Titus and Congressman Mark Takano of California, along with President Heavey and VPSA Rogers on Wednesday for our congressional roundtable talking about veteran priorities. So I want to give a shout out to each of you. Hope I didn't miss anybody. And thank you to Advisor Dow for her kind and encouraging words and shout out for our event last week. Thank you, everybody. I yield the floor.
Thank you so much. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, I will go ahead and close public comments at 5:52 p.m. Are there any Senate submissions? Seeing none, I will close Senate submissions at 5:52 p.m. and at the same time adjourn this meeting. Yeah.